it's I think MLK Day is our first holiday, and then I feel like there's something in February and there's something in March. Easter, we get Good Friday off for Easter. Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas break.
Well, you figure that out, Steve.
Jeez, when do you work?
He doesn't.
We just get.
That only works out to maybe a holiday a
New
month.
Year's, Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, Thanksgiving, Christmas.
Steven, can you get the lights?
Where's Good Friday in there?
Not.
It's the one with the light bulb. You got it.
It's not a federal holiday, my guy.
Maybe it should be.
Yeah.
Well,
isn't MLK Day a federal holiday now?
You know, see, I'm pretty sure it is, and that's an interesting one. That's one that
because we observe
that's a bank holiday though.
Which that was always my understanding is like our holidays we take are the bank holidays. Like I heard that said way back when.
I'm waiting for my institution to start observing Juneteenth. Honestly, I would not.
I was waiting for ours as well. That kind of surprised me also, especially
we will listen. It's going to take an act of God for us to actually start getting more holidays, not less.
Because MLK Day was a relatively new development. Like that started after I joined.
We have to be available for our clients for every instance that they need assistance.
I have to
with
be,
their
even
IT.
if it is a holiday, I still have to be available for our clients.
Tell the clients
that's what you get for being
time off.
Nearly indispensable.
I don't get time off. Even when I'm like, I took sick days or have PTO days, I still have to have my work phone on me.
You guys are IT. Dictate their holidays.
That's not how any of that works.
No.
Because again, you're coming from an internal IT perspective.
Yeah, I know.
We are contractors.
Mm-hmm.
Put it in the contract.
It's a very weird. It's a very weird space that we operate in.
This is the service level agreement.
We can have them pay us more for holidays, but that's about it.
I mean, that also works.
Mute it.
Oh.
This is what you get for playing with multiple different types of hardware.
You can unmute it now. I was trying to be considerate and like
instead of the iMac.
The way you're pointing was like, turn me down. I was like, okay, I can turn you down. That's fine.
We have to work on our hand signals.
Yeah.
So
why don't you just for mute just do this?
So is there a reason we didn't turn the TV on for this?
We don't need it.
No,
Because
really
I was under the impression we didn't have show notes.
It's kind of dim without the TV, though. And
it feels like a black void.
Yeah. It's just like we're staring into a black hole.
We need our countryside landscape.
I mean, country road, take me home to the input that's labeled PlayStation.
Yeah.
One of these days, I'm just going to change it.
Hey,
I need to rename.
Have we made a high quality looping GIF of what's on the YouTube?
Yeah, actually, we have.
Do we have that? Because that would be instead of a fireplace playing in the background, we have that playing in the background.
I just need to randomize the screensavers.
I mean, you could just go to. Wait, do I have it? Actually, do I have it in SharePoint? I probably should if I don't.
West Virginia.
Is in Appalachia.
Next time with karaoke with John.
Dude, I cannot sing to save my life, but I will do karaoke. It's one of my favorite things.
Hostile karaoke would be one heck of a stream.
You have no idea. I will go in there and I will sing my heart out to some old Slim Shady.
Oh God.
I'm not as fast as him, but I can nail the majority of it.
Okay, so when you do the after-hours show, that's when that gets broken out.
Hostile karaoke.
No, because we're gonna get DMCA'd so fast.
We'll just register ourselves as like a cover band and then do that.
You still have to get licenses to do covers. Yeah,
we have to make money first.
The music side is you don't want to know.
What about parodies? That would require a lot more
parodies.
R&D,
you still actually have to have a license for the song that you're parodying, or you have to have permission from the either holding company, the license company, or the record company that actually is retaining all of that. Yeah, I've looked down all this stuff before. It's a nightmare. It's not right now.
Unfortunately, we can't have
We're
the
not
excuse
Weird
of
Al.
a
We
12-year-old in
can't
this
swing it.
bedroom with a guitar.
True.
Yeah, if you want to do that, the graphic thing, if you go to SharePoint in media graphics,
John is
video
updating
overlays.
Chrome.
It was supposed
My
to because I
goodness
actually
gravy.
rebooted this thing and told it to patch everything, and it did
wow.
Well, it's because you have 30,000 tabs.
That's incredible.
not. Okay, but that's no. I closed. No, I didn't close those ones. Actually, which one has that one? That's
What is
the
your?
one.
Can you open up your system monitor? What's your Chrome RAM usage?
Don't
look
worry
like
about
right
that.
now?
Actually, it's probably not that high at the moment because it put all that to sleep.
Oh, that little guy? Don't worry about that little guy.
It's under
Media.
media.
Graphic. Video overlays and inserts. YouTube graphics. And that's the top bash background embers red glow. Then you put that on a loop. It's short, but if you do like repeat, then it'll
Not that.
just
Okay, so we need
does
we need
stream not have that option.
Go to settings, and you might be able
The
to.
little gear down the bottom, that little guy. Wow. Thanks, stream, for being
I can put it
useless.
to HD.
We need a serious, not a non-screaming serious bash face with his wings outstretched like the Elmo gif. Only this. Since my favorite gif is the Elmo gif.
Ooh, we could add in for the arms. We could add like the arms that they put on the bald eagle for the the thing like with birds. They put the
Oh, for like the 4th of July memes. And
Yeah.
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
We can make it
yeah.
those arms.
I'm okay with that.
As I say, if you open in VLC, this would be a lot easier.
We gotta channel our. Are you a VLC guy or an MPV
Yes.
guy?
VLC.
VLC? What? What kind of a question even is that?
So I've used VLC a lot, but I've heard a lot of good things about MPV. I haven't tried it out yet, but I've heard that it's better in some aspects.
I was opening QuickTime.
well, there's part of your problem.
No VLC was on this machine at one point.
I was gonna say I was pretty sure we've used it. There it is.
There you go.
Look at that.
You should be able to just right click and open with or something like that. Yeah, open
Apple
with.
right click
Look
does
at
VLC.
you.
Yes, it does.
I say that as I
Country
ordered some
road.
stuff to soup up my iMac at home.
Take me home.
This is
Well,
There we
we
go.
Look at that. And then somewhere in there. Whoa, whoa, hey, whoa.
Not that guy.
This is like all like how none
This
of this
is-
works.
oh hit shuffle repeat.
There's not a loop feature.
How
Go
is there not a what is the world
VLC
coming
is
through?
pretty simple.
No, it has one. I've used it. What the
on Windows? Pause it.
Well, you may have to go up to the menu up at the top.
Yeah, click on playback up at the
Very, very, very top.
I know.
yeah.
Repeat all.
Oh, just repeat one would probably work, and then put it full screen, and then you're good. Theoretically.
Well, this is Mac. We can't do full screen.
You can.
No, you're not allowed to.
All right, here's the moment of truth.
It's gonna do that every time.
That's even worse than the Apple. The Apple one at least waits like a while, and the title
I'm
up there,
so
and-
glad
Stutters.
we took the time to do this.
Here,
At,
while
at this
while
point,
we move on to talking about other things, I'm gonna upload from my computer the other one that's an hour long that I made. that
Was the
will-
button
dude,
never
that's
pushed,
gonna
by the
take
way?
so long. It's gonna take
No,
the
it's
entire
not.
recording. Yeah, it is.
No, because it's uploading from my computer at home that actually has good internet.
Oh, okay, that works. But if we go back to media,
How do you remote
Graphics.
into your computer at home?
I use Google Remote Desktop.
Gotcha.
I know it's not the best thing in the world, but it works and I like it.
I've been using Tailscale. I'm really liking it.
Tails, I've had a love-hate relationship with it because when I first started using it, I loved it.
Mhm.
And then the Tailscale server decided to crap itself, and then when you rebuild and recover it, it sometimes not just drops the agents randomly,
Mhm.
and then it sometimes locks you at 24p, which is amazing.
Really? Okay. Well, granted, I haven't tried to RDP or VNC over Tailscale. I've only ever SSH'd.
If you're only doing SSH, then like you
Yeah,
can
but I haven't
literally
had
just
any
do that from
issues.
pretty much any terminal. Just install the SSH plugin.
No, yeah, but not to connect to my home network. from here.
Oh, okay.
I have
yeah.
to have something in between. That's where tail scale comes in. Theoretically, I could also hook it up so that my sync thing runs through tail scale. Oh, jeez.
Oh, that's that was loud.
There we go. That guy's a bit longer.
There we go.
When on view, can you set it so that it doesn't pop the title up when it starts a video? That's probably buried in settings somewhere.
I don't know. We need to get actually recording. If you want to.
Have you not recorded any of this?
Yeah. We've been recording
Okay,
for 11 minutes.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering when that was going to be mentioned.
Hey, it even matches the lights.
Yeah. Look at
The
that.
ambiance is there.
Steven's just intensely working on this.
It's because the one thing that I hate about Google Remote Desktop is the scaling. I can't freaking read anything on it.
Set up tail scale and then RDP into your computer.
We have also other VPN.
Start talking about stuff.
Oh. Repeating
What
all
happened?
of them in the
Oh,
library.
God.
Let's go. Let's go. That's awesome.
Well, at least it's a different
All right,
image.
we're gonna leave that.
I want
Welcome to the Hostility Morning Show. Can I
What
help
on
you?
Earth?
Can I help you?
so go ahead.
No, go. You had something to say. Go right on ahead.
I missed talking during the intro.
Welcome to the Hostility Morning Show podcast. I'm your host, Jonathan, joined here today by...
Nathan.
Matthew,
Steven.
You threw me off my cadence. This is
I
all
know.
your fault. This is all your
You
fault.
didn't
He
do
threw
the
all of us
wind-up.
off our cadence.
I can't do the wind up because if I do, it's gonna blow everything out. Because I'm not into the other stuff we're not allowed to talk about yet.
Gotcha.
He spoiled himself, is what's happened.
This is true.
Yes.
When does he not do that?
Usually, you have about a 1 to 3 month window where he doesn't.
It's
Okay.
not called spoiling yourself. It's
Hold
called
on.
treating yourself.
Yeah. Like
Treat
hold
yourself.
on. What do you mean 1 to 3 months? I don't spoil. What? Please elaborate.
Whenever something new is brought in, there's about 1 to 3 months of that's what's used, and you're happy with it. But then somehow you learn something, and you begin thinking you're unhappy with it. And then within another 1 to 3 months, a new piece of hardware shows up. And then you don't just think you're unhappy, you then convince yourself you are unhappy with using the new hardware.
Are you saying that at least once per quarter, John treats himself?
That's how Matthew would put it. That's not how I would put it.
Okay.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Your side of the desk just looks like the Borg.
Just so you, I just wanted to make another quick comment,
Mhm.
John.
Yes.
So, I've got the thing uploaded now. It's 7.2 gigabytes, and it started uploading when you hit the intro, and it's done now.
That's
So,
impressive.
Even with my two
It's what
internet
you're
connections.
missing out on.
Yeah, with both my internet connections, that still is not possible.
So anyway, if you want to stop this,
Are you on
can,
fiber?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm on copper
It's
and
dead in
cellular.
half.
It's great.
Not
Impressive.
good copper. So let's clarify that.
It's not good
It's
copper.
the copper's probably older than everyone at this table.
I'll guarantee that this copper has not been touched probably since the 90s.
It's made out of wieners
Please elaborate on that.
Or don't.
because it's run by Cox, right?
Nathan, what are we going to be discussing today while I figure out the graphic thing that Steven wants me to work on?
Well, I did say we could just let that rant for a while. I'm very much regretting that statement now. So, since he segued, what about Cox?
So I got hypothetically, I got a warning from Cox the other day because I made the mistake of torrenting without running a VPN. And this has never
Yeah,
happened
they don't
before.
like that.
This has never
You
happened
can
before.
just
But this
run
is
that
the
in
one
stream. You
time.
don't have to download it.
Run what stream?
Just run it and just click on it and play it through stream.
Oh, that's
Because
a
it's an
smart
hour
idea.
long.
Well, but it's gonna stop and buffer most of the time.
No, it won't. The internet is now mostly fixed.
This is Microsoft Stream.
But this is the Microsoft Stream. Like, it likes me way better than you.
So we've been trying to get a background image playing, and as per normal, have horribly overcomplicated.
We should just use this as our benchmark and then just periodically check
Is
the
that
timestamp.
how pixelated the
Yes.
SVG looks every time?
This is running at a lower resolution than
is.
what you had earlier.
Yeah, see if you can change the doodad to the thing this time.
See, now it's gonna buffer for ages.
It's a little bit better.
That still looks like crap.
That's it's the resolution of the image though. At this point,
We need to.
it's because
we need to scale
the
that up a bit
background
better.
animation is higher definition than the image.
So Matthew, you learned why certain things are recommended.
Yeah, so I knew, and this is
That was
this is
great
like
for the audio podcast.
this is entirely my fault because I know you're not supposed to torrent without a VPN because then the ISPs will complain about it. But I had never had an issue with it before, and I'd let my Mulvad subscription lapse. So I was being lazy, and I was like, just this once. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just this once. It was fine for the most part because it's, they have a multiple strikes and you're out kind of thing. But I did get a strike on my account because I torrented without a VPN.
And now we should probably clarify. They probably say, now correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm
Mhm.
guessing that they say you can't torrent, period.
No, they don't. It's if you have this is the crazy part. If you have illegal content that you've torrented or downloaded or what have you, then they'll throw stuff out there. So they have a in their customer portal, they have a copy of so they sent me an email and they sent me a link to the customer portal. So I went into the customer portal to see what it said, and it actually had the name of the file that I had downloaded.
Oof.
And I was like, oh, that's creepy. Because I was like, well, hold on a second. Was this me? Or was this, like,
A hijacked.
yeah, was this what it was? It was very much me.
Uh-huh,
It was the
yeah.
thing that I had just downloaded. So like some more context. I won't name the actual thing, but it's a game that I own on Steam,
Mhm.
but it has one of the third-party launchers that you have to run it through. Hate doing that. Especially on my Steam Deck because the third-party launchers just wreak havoc on it, and it's awful. So I was like, oh, well, I'll just get a repack of it, right? Fine. I do own the game, but this is the one time that they threw a fit about it. So, yeah.
They don't know you own the game.
See,
Yeah, well, yeah. That's,
I've gotten a different
slightly
warning
fair.
from Cox before of not torrenting, but that whole thing of, they know what you downloaded. They don't know what I download or do on my network at all because everything piping through goes to a separate VPN connection that goes to a different gateway host. And
you got like 3 different instances of Pi-hole that everything runs through.
so I do have instances of Pi-hole, but all of the external traffic that Cox sees, it's all going through a VPN. Everything goes through a VPN tunnel.
Well, I have my desktop running through a VPN now. It's just
Yeah.
for one.
Yeah,
what,
no,
like
The
30,
one
it took
time.
about 30 minutes to torrent it.
Oh,
but
God.
yeah, I just
because here's the thing, like with your ISPs, because they can packet snip, they can see everything that you're
Yeah.
doing like at all times. So that's why it's like I don't do anything even questionable on my network. The most I do is like when I'm working on confidential stuff for work, I don't want the potential of, it's very rare anything would even get leaked out, but
Mhm.
I want to mitigate that as much as possible. And, me being the IT nerd that I am and have the server rack and all that fun stuff in there, it's just best that, like, I would rather have all of my network privatized and know that the only person that really knows who's actually accessing that information is me
Yeah.
and then whoever's on the other end. That's it. Because everything else, like, if you're an ISP, I don't think of any reason why you should be able to know what sites and things that I'm accessing. It's just like any mail delivery service. That same thing of like, if I send a packet out, through the internet, or if I send a letter out through the mail, you opening that on the internet side is the same thing as the
But they
mail
can-
provider opening the letter.
The technology does exist for them to scan the packages, though, so that's not exactly a great analogy. But I
The
do agree.
principles-
I
The
agree
pr-
with
the
the principle of
The
it. Yeah.
technology is very
Yes.
different, but the principle is the same.
No, I agree.
And that's where it's like I can't do anything about it. If I send a letter out through USPS or through any other provider, if they want to open it up, they're going to open it up. I can do something on the internet side of my network to be able to privatize that, at least to some aspect, to help keep my stuff at least a little bit more secure online. Which also probably doesn't help with the crappy upload speed. So
I was about to say, yeah, that probably explains a little bit of.
well,
your,
also only having a 10 megabit pipe.
I
up
mean,
is
yeah,
not great.
you're handicapped to start with, but that's also.
It's better than the
Put that
cellular
overhead
connection,
on
which
it.
is 1 megabit up.
Ugh.
It's enough to stream, and that's all I cared. I can
Barely.
watch my movies and YouTube. That's all I cared.
Your legally obtained movies on YouTube.
All my movies are legally obtained. They all come off a disc, so yes.
See, that's also I've done a
He's
fair amount of
He's got that buy legal copies of movies money.
I've done a fair amount of torrenting for movies that I already own. I'm just too lazy to rip.
See,
Never gotten any complaints about that either.
I'm the weird person. I like that process. I like being able to put the physical disc into the drive, close it, rip it, go
So,
through that
wait
process.
I
forever.
did like that process until I had ripped about 60% of my collection, and then the hard drive died, and I just haven't gone back.
I've gone
and,
through
like,
3 different
fixed it
drive
since.
pulls on it. My current setup now, it's keep knocking on wood. It's pretty resilient. I also just refuse to do backups on my movies because again, I have them all on physical disc. The only thing I lose is my time. So I'm like, that is what it is. Because that's also like almost 28 between 18 and 20 terabytes of data that I'm just backing up movies. That's kind of expensive to back up.
Yeah.
So no, because my current backup server has like 16 terabytes, and it's about 45% full. So I don't know.
One of these days, I might go back and rebuild it. But at this point, I've got it like I don't really stream anything to my. I don't watch stuff on my phone, and I don't have a tablet to watch things on either. If I'm gonna watch something, it's either gonna be at my computer on the second monitor, or it's gonna be on the TV in the living room.
You haven't done it right. You have to put at least a 55-inch display in every room of your house, and then it's great. You can always stream whatever you want, and it's nice quality.
Well, in their case, all they have to do is just put a 55-inch TV on top of every rabbit hutch in the house.
Oh my god.
That's also fair.
And then the rabbits can
Yeah.
watch it.
Yeah, I would. I think Bunsen and Rambo would appreciate that.
You
That'd be
named the
funny.
other one Rambo?
So the funny story behind that. So the one that we got for Holly before Holly died was is named Rambo. We decided on the name before we went to pick him up. So we had a picture of him on Craigslist, and we were like, you know what? It'd be really funny because he's a dwarf, a Netherland dwarf. So he's this little guy. He's a little round right now, but he's this little guy, and he we thought it would be really funny to have this like tiny little rabbit named Rambo. So we go. And the previous owners had named him Mr. John. And so at that point, we were like, all right, this is destiny right here. It was meant to be. So we have little Mr. John Rambo, the Netherland Dwarf Bunny.
I love it.
That's pretty good.
Yep. So yeah, moral of the story, don't torrent without a VPN.
Without a VPN, yeah.
You can probably get away with it for most stuff. Like if you're just, torrenting Linux distros or something like that, nobody's going to come after you for that. But if you're hypothetically doing stuff that you hypothetically should not be doing, you should probably use a VPN.
Because I'm gonna work on the assumption that your perspective on the torrenting subject there is if you own a license to it, you have no problem torrenting it.
Yeah, that's me. I'm not one of those like self-righteous douche canoes on like r/piracy or something that like, oh, it's my moral right to do it because big companies are big companies. I for most stuff it's not worth my time. But for a few things here and there, like the occasional AAA title that I want to play that's on a third-party freaking platform that I don't want to deal with their stuff, especially the single-player games. I will never understand the like
DLC,
EA
man.
and Ubisoft and stuff like that they're just like, oh well, you can buy it on Steam, but you still have to use our third-party launcher on top of Steam instead of just using Steam's DRM. I will never understand the hoops that they
DLC.
make you jump through.
DLC
Data.
data.
So
it's
I
all
can get
data
around
harvesting.
that by getting a repack, or like I could download the game through the launcher and then find a crack somewhere, but that's also got its own issues. So this was just kind of the most convenient solution.
But you just got a little slap on the wrist.
Oh yeah,
For
no,
now.
like barely even a slap on the wrist, and it was kind of like, okay,
you
maybe
got
I
a finger
should
wag.
pay for the VPN, because for a while there I'd been torrenting, never had an issue, and so I was like,
Allegedly.
I was getting a little allegedly torrenting, and I was getting a little overconfident. So this was
Yeah.
this was a
Flying
nice
too close
little
to the sun.
yeah.
And
Well, I
then
mean,
you
I-
stopped and you slowed down, and then the one time
Yeah, the one time they caught me slipping, it was like, all right.
It's always that one
Shout
time.
out to Tailscale though. They have a deal with Molvad VPN, which is what I was using previously. And part of the reason why I gave it up is because I was using Tailscale. And like on my phone, you can't have more than one VPN running at the same time. So I had to choose Tailscale or Molvad, and I wanted Tailscale so I could be able to like randomly SSH into my devices and do stuff like that. And then I completely misunderstood the documentation, and I thought that it was going to be a big hassle to set up Molvad, because my understanding of it is you have to select an exit node, and I thought that I had to be the one to provide the exit node. So I would have to set up like a Raspberry Pi or a home lab or something like that to be the exit node for Molvad. That's not the case. You have your list of Molvad servers that you pick from as the exit node. So it's super easy on your Tailscale account dashboard to sign up for it, to add it to your account, and then to select the devices that you want to be able to use it, and then to go select the exit node on those devices. It was a breeze. I was back up and running in like 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it's similar to like how I use PIA, because I still pay for PIA for my mobile devices and all that. And that's just like cool. I install it, log in, choose a server where I want to connect to,
Set it,
and
forget
that's
it,
And
unless you restart your phone or something. Yeah.
No, because even then, like my app auto restarts, or I don't have it on at all times,
Mhm.
because I don't know, just it's a battery drainer for when I'm out and about. Like I have no problem when I'm at home. Again, I'm already on a VPN, so I don't have it on like everywhere. But it's a nice little. If I'm going out, yeah, VPN. It's great, and it's dirt cheap. But
I still haven't bothered to do the whole integrate it with
that's
pfSense.
it's super easy
I
to do.
I,
It's
I
not hard.
started it at one point, and then I got frustrated with it, and I was like, I haven't revisited it.
It's not hard.
But I just have the app on my phone, and I use it every now and then. So
Yeah. No, VPNs are important.
Yep.
Especially, again, they are not the end-all be-all for data privacy. They are a good first step if you're wanting to go down that road, but do not think just because you have a VPN, that means you're protected from everything.
You're not invisible, and it also depends on the VPN provider.
Yep.
And all sorts of other factors.
And what their data protection policy is on that, because like especially if you're going to go with a third-party VPN provider, you have to look at, see, do they store any of your data? Do they do any retention on that? What is their deletion policy? How do they actually, is the data that they store encrypted or anything of that nature? Because again, VPNs are a great tool, but they can be used for nefarious purposes. So just because you went with this company, you could be lumped in, say, if a leak happened, you can still get tarnished from this. So that's where it's a double-edged sword when you're looking into implementing a solution like this. I'm still a big proponent of it's not very difficult to set up your own VPN via any cloud-hosted provider out there that lets you have a VM on there, or if they have just any type of cloud networking that you can attach to, host your own. It's very easy to set up.
So if you guys want another funny VPN story, I'm banned from GameStop.com because I use a VPN. Yeah, for the longest time I can get to the homepage, and then if I try to click into anything, and this is better for my wallet, so I haven't done anything about it. But if I try to click into anything, I get this access denied page.
Oh yeah,
and it says you don't have permission, blah 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 blah. And for a while, it would do that when I was running a VPN, and then I turned the VPN off and it'd be fine. And now it doesn't matter if I'm running the VPN or not. I can't get on GameStop.com, and so I looked it up, and it's because their host, the way that they do things is that they will ban you for stuff, and you can contact them and be like, "Hey, can I get back on the website?" But I'm just, again, it's better for my wallet. I'm too lazy to do that. So there are
They're doing you a
downsides to
favor.
running a VPN, but in this case, it's kind of like a
Yeah, it's weird. I haven't been banned by them, and again, all my traffic goes through it, but I also rarely get on GameStop because I have an addiction to eBay, and well,
yeah. I've had better luck with eBay because you also
an accurate
know what
statement.
you're getting.
Yeah.
Even if it's not quite what you want. The thing about GameStop is it's always hit or miss. And then these days, one of the things that I like is the cases. If I'm gonna buy a physical game, I want the actual case. I don't want the just cheap GameStop plastic sleeve or whatever. I want the actual case for it. You don't know if you're getting that or not. If you're ordering off of GameStop.com.
It's known as the GameStop roulette.
Yeah, you do know if you're getting it off of eBay, and you have better recourse, I feel like, on eBay to resolve that. Because I'm not just after the game. If I'm going to order a game, like especially these days,
I want the full experience. I want the case. I want it complete in box. I want, if I just went to my local, brick and mortar, if I pick that game up brand new, take it home, take it out of the shrink wrap, everything that's included in that case, I want that. Especially these days, I'm very picky with the games that I pick up. I'm going after very specific ones because I don't have a huge collection.
Yeah.
But it's decent enough size where if I'm going to spend the money to go and get this specific one, I want it in this type of condition with everything that was included with it. Because if it's going to sit on my shelf and be a display piece, it needs to look good then.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be the just, piece of paper that GameStop printed and put in a generic sleeve or generic case and then hand it to you. I don't like that. And that's if you get one of the plastic cases. They don't just send it to you in like the little CD sleeve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Steven's over
Hate
here
that.
just like, oh yeah, no, I do that all the
Hate
time.
that.
I don't have this obsession with collecting.
I haven't
This type of
bought a
stuff.
physical copy of a game in I don't know how long.
I just did it earlier this week. It just showed up today.
Yeah, reminiscing on the golden days. For me, the golden days of GameStop was back in like end of 2017, mid 2018. I remember I ordered Halo 1 and 2 for the original Xbox. I ordered the first Metroid for GameCube. And then I had a couple other games in that package, but they all came in their original cases. Metroid was in like beautiful condition, not a single scratch on that case. I have no idea why they sent it to me because I got it for like $10 off of GameStop. And this wasn't 20 years ago. This was like what, 5-6 years ago?
6, yeah.
Yeah.
6, 7.
Not even that long ago. It blew my mind. Now game prices are crazy unless
It's
you're buying
ridiculous.
like original Xbox or PlayStation 2 or just,
Original Xbox
Wii
hasn't spiked too bad. Right now, if you actually are going to be collecting Xbox 360 are still some of the most economical you can get into and that's starting to go a bit. But the one that is probably the best price per games is still the PSP. Because $100 on the PSP goes a long way to getting a good game collection. And like on the Xbox 360, it does get pretty far. PS3, it depends on the type of titles you're going after. But anything kind of older, even PS2 is now starting to spike. PS1, it really depends on the title. But that one is also like, you're pretty much expected to pay $15, $20 a game.
Yeah.
So no, game prices have gotten dumb. That's also why I'm going after the games nobody wants. I'm going after the old big box PC games.
Yeah, those are good. At this point, like I've kind of taken a step back from collecting, especially since I've kind of run out of space. So if anything, I need to downsize my collection a little bit. But I've got all of my stuff on Steam, and then since I got my Steam Deck, I just play stuff on my digital libraries. I don't really bother with the consoles at the moment.
See, I was at that point in like 5-6 years ago, and I've now flipped back. I want everything physical. Like if it's not a physical disc, I don't want it.
Yeah, well, I haven't gotten rid of my collection because like I still have my PlayStation 2 collection, which my PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2 collections I'm the most proud of because I collected a lot of the good games before 2020 and all the price hikes and stuff like that. So I've got like all of the Final Fantasy games for the PlayStation 1. I've got think all of them for the PlayStation 2. I've got 10, 10, 2, and 12. I've got like, Gran Turismo. I've got I think the only thing I'm missing, and I'm still kicking myself for not getting it, was Metal Gear. Metal Gear Solid for the PS1.
So, John, does that mean you're gonna buy a physical copy of Civ 7?
If they have one, I would debate. Yes, very much so. I'm still going out and I haven't convinced myself yet to buy it, but they have the collector's edition for the physical copy of Baldur's Gate 3. I do want really really bad. And then they just announced one of my favorite games of last year next to Baldur's Gate was Alan Wake 2, and just earlier this week they finally announced that they're going to start putting out physical copies for that. So I'll probably end up buying another copy just because eventually Epic, Steam, EA site, Uplay, all this stuff is going to go down, and
Most likely, yes.
you won't have your games anymore. And the only way really to preserve that is either have it on a hard drive or have a physical disc. That's really it for modern gaming.
That's why I like good old games, because I can download
Love good
the
old games.
backups
And they're
stuff
DRM
like
free.
that. Yeah.
It's great. I support them heavily. I have a substantial collection on there now, but it's still one of those. It's digital only. It's still dependent on their servers. If their servers go down, there's all your stuff. That's why I had such a big issue with Microsoft and them closing down the 360 store, because I had quite a bit of digital on there that is no longer accessible. And if you didn't download it to a hard drive at that time, it's very...
Can you not download it, or can
You
you just
can-
not purchase from it?
You can't purchase from it. You can still
Yeah.
download some things, but not everything is
Because
accessible.
Nintendo did the same thing with the Wii U and the 3DS just this year. I think
Yes.
it was back in March.
Well, it was supposed to be earlier than that, but
Mhm.
then they extended it out due to all of the outrage things that happened. So they ended up reworking a few things on that front.
Yeah.
But yeah, you can no longer do any purchasing. You can still do
you
downloads.
can still download your stuff.
But
yeah.
that is also going to eventually get phased out, where they will be, again, this is from, I'll say rumors, but they were pretty substantial, not confirmed, but confirmed
Mhm.
statements that they are going to turn those servers off eventually, and you just won't have access to that stuff anymore.
100%. The reason why the payment stuff goes down first, though, because I read up on this, it's
Mhm.
because of the way that they have things set up, especially on the older consoles like the 3DS and everything. There's only so much you can do to update some of those things, so they can't keep it secure. That's the problem.
Oh, Steven knows everything about keeping stuff secure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you run a VPN, sir?
He has one.
I have one.
We need to get a VPN sponsor.
Okay, so I have a question
Yes.
related to the video games. If Nintendo wanted to just print, I could be wrong on this, but in my opinion, if Nintendo wanted to print money, just print money, they would create a Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance, all original styling, original everything, complete with takes AA batteries. And they would have, only difference would be they'd have built-in backlight,
Mhm.
and they would have every game for the platform. What do you think would be the max people would pay? Personally, I think they could charge for well over $500.
I would
And
It,
people
would,
would
it
buy
wouldn't
it.
be that much.
I would pay a decent amount of money for that, but I already did pay a decent amount of money for that because I put backlights. I bought a GBA off of one of our local thrift shops. $5. Thing was in almost mint condition.
That's not bad.
$5. This was like 3 years ago, 2 or 3 years. We were still living not where we're living right now. So it was like 3 years ago, I think. And then I bought an atomic purple shell off of eBay. So it's like the
Yeah.
see-through. Because I had gotten a atomic purple Game Boy Color at, I remember which game store. It wasn't GameStop. It was one of the other mom and pop ones around here. But I had gotten that for like $40, which I was pretty happy about. Which was also like
Wait,
3 or
for the shell?
3 years. No, for the whole GBA
Oh,
or the GBC. The Game Boy Color.
Okay,
So I got the whole
okay.
console and everything. The only thing it didn't have was like a battery door cover, but those are like a dime a dozen. And I could print one if I really wanted to. So I got those, and I put a backlight in each of them,
Mhm.
and then I have flash carts for each of them too, so I can put as many ROMs as I want on an SD card, put the SD card in the flash cart, and then I can play on original hardware.
So, but that's not my point though.
No,
But
no,
to
no.
Nathan's
But what I'm
point,
saying is I've kind of done it, so I wouldn't pay for it myself necessarily. But,
But the
I would
market,
if I didn't have this.
the market value
I
for
would
a
pay for
new
it.
out of the factory product is not going to directly equate to what you were able to cobble together through secondhand stuff.
And I
I would think
the-
250, 300 would be.
I was gonna say probably
reasonable.
max 200 because the likelihood of you actually of them having the licenses to be able to put every game on it is very
well,
unlikely.
this was, if I understand the
but the
scenario,
hypothetical.
if I understand the scenario correctly, this would be direct from Nintendo.
if they had it
Yes.
set up so that it had
They are the license holder.
Not necessarily.
Video game licensing is actually a very complex subject because a lot
Yeah.
of if you ever looked into delisted games, a lot of the delisted games is due to is some publishing issues. The majority of them is actually related to music.
because the music industry is just
But we're talking about
absolutely
we're talking
retarded.
about the Mario, all the Mario franchises. We're
So
talking about
I
we're
am
talking about Nintendo games.
Okay,
So I'm
so
talking.
here-
No, hold up.
Yeah.
I'm talking all games for that platform.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
never mind. I
that's the
misunderstood.
big
So-
issue.
Here's to get around the licensing thing. Here's
Yeah.
how I would do it. I would, if I were Nintendo, I would build the device, right? Exact same way that it was back in the day, with the addition of wireless.
So no, hold up.
And-
No, that is.
No. Hear me out. Wireless, because there are there instead of the link cable, right? You can that serves a purpose for local multiplayer, but also have the ability for other publishers to get games on the system, so that way, if instead of all of the fans like us going, "Hey Nintendo, why isn't this game on here?" Right? It's Nintendo can just point the finger and say, "Hey, it's actually their fault," which it is. It's like Konami for not putting the Castlevania games or something on there.
Mhm.
They need to get on it. That way, you have the base platform. You have all of the Nintendo stuff. So like Nintendo can put all of the Super Mario, Legend of Zelda, Metroid, what have you. They can put all of their stuff on there and have it ready to go, and they can sell it at a premium price. And then for the rest of it, they can also have it set up so that other publishers can get in on it, and then they can reap the Nintendo tax off of that, kind of like what Steam does with Steam. They have their markup on that they take off the top of sales and everything. That's how I would do it, but Nintendo's not going to do that.
See, the reason why I would not want wireless on it is because I would want no way for anything to be removed from it. It's back. It's
Just
I mean,
because
I
it has
can-
wireless
yeah.
capability
It's-
doesn't mean that you couldn't lock that down. That's
it's the easiest.
that's
if
a
you don't.
coding thing.
The main selling point of it would be it is old school tech, and that is old school tech was, yes, there's software, but it's a hardware device.
Well, so then if you
So
wanted
long
to go,
as you can scrounge up batteries,
But that's your
so if you wanted to go that route, you could go, if you look it up, something like the Evercade, because that's what they do. Is it's not wireless. They sell cartridges and that different publishers put their games on a cartridge, and then they sell you the cartridge.
but part of the other part, but this would also be it's Nintendo.
It's direct from Nintendo.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it's direct from Nintendo.
no. There's no reason that with that type of technology, there's no reason that you couldn't mix old and new. I mean, you could still have.
I'm not
the
saying
old
you
school
wouldn't be.
guts like you're talking about.
I'm not saying you wouldn't be able to load stuff to it. And I'm not, and I mean, if they were to say, hey, here's a Game Boy Advance, everything except for, there you could wirelessly download stuff, but it has all of the Nintendo games ever made for Nintendo, for all of the Nintendo party games. Everything's on there. Pay $300, have fun. I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
Okay,
I
this-
would say there's no reason why the Nintendo licensed games wouldn't be on there.
Well,
like
'cause-
if that's where the bar stops,
Yeah.
then they can do that. They should be able to do that.
Well, you already have a precedent for that. I mean, just go back and look at what the a few years ago when they released those mini consoles, the mini NES and SNES.
I'm still mad that they stopped there and they didn't
Yeah.
go with like the 64 or like Game Boys, right? I just
Yeah, because I mean they already have those, and those were wildly popular. So I would feel because I mean those were like what between like $60 and $100 each.
I think they were like 60 or 80. They were all sub 100.
is this
Yeah.
pre-scalper or post-scalper?
This is pre.
So like
this
if you went
was
to
the- this was
Walmart,
the
it's
actual
like,
MSRP.
Oh wait, is this the little mini?
Yeah.
The little doodad.
Yeah,
We
I
have-
have one.
We have one at the office.
I know.
The NES, if I remember right,
Forget
the
about that.
NES was 60. The SNES was like $80.
Yeah.
I have the SNES.
No, they're good little
Well,
consoles.
they've done like the Game and Watch, like the 35th anniversary Super Mario one, and then the 30th anniversary Zelda one.
So they would have the capability. It would just be, what is the actual target price you would put something on like that? And you'd have to look at, yes, you are getting the full game library on it, but you also have to compare it to, again, other third-party competitors and then other mainstream consoles, which, again, their own Switch is $199.99.
for the light.
Yes. Which this would technically be a direct competitor to, because it's another handheld that is...
It wouldn't
It wouldn't be a
be
direct competitor.
It wouldn't be a
It would
direct
be.
competitor because it's fulfilling a different. It's playing to a different customer base. You're not playing to the in
Yes,
would it
quotation
be,
marks
would
modern
it be a
day
different
gamer.
customer base though?
So
I
like
would
a
say
Switch,
so.
I think there would be quite a bit of overlap.
There's a
there.
difference between the 12-year-old playing Fortnite on their Nintendo Switch and the 30-year-old wanting to play Advance Wars.
Yeah,
again.
but you're also forgetting the huge nostalgia boom that's happening right now across where even like Gen Z and younger are really getting into those types of like the stuff that we grew up with in the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s.
They're realizing our
golden age of
generation's better.
gaming.
Well, before the downfall of gaming of 2010.
We've had some good games since then.
No, we've had good games, but there is a stark
There's a difference. There's a
seventh
significant
generation consoles was the last great console generation we had where you saw true innovation across pretty much every single console provider out there.
That
Between
was
Nintendo,
thr-
Xbox, and PlayStation.
360,
that was
PS3?
360,
difference.
PS3,
And Wii.
Okay.
and the Wii.
Yeah.
That was the last time where you actually had innovative, really unique games consistently coming out. Yeah, not all of them, performed well, but like you had things. Let's take a concept that I truly love that came out a few years ago. So Respawn Entertainment, the whole downfall, what happened to Infinity Ward, they split off, they made their whole thing. They made a new franchise called Titanfall. Titanfall 2 had a great campaign in it, but one specific level where it had a time travel capability in it, which was awesome. That was not a new concept in a video game. That actually has happened numerous times before, but one game that really kind of set it off as a really interesting sci-fi adventure that you can go down was a small game called Singularity, that the entire purpose of the game was that time travel feature of you going between multiple time point dimensions and making changes and modifications as you go through that entire campaign. And that was made by a very well-known developer, now not as much because Activision ruined them. That was Raven Software, which Raven
Okay.
was also one of the most innovative studios we had during that period. If you go look at their entire backlog of everything that they developed during that time, there wasn't that many flops. They definitely had some, but they had some of the most unique games and concepts coming out of that studio before they became a support studio for Call of Duty.
Yeah, well, pretty much everything has been gobbled up by either all of the studios from our heydays, right? Has either been gobbled up by Activision or EA. EA has been the worst offender.
Well,
EA
and
might
Microsoft right
EA
now.
is Microsoft is picking up some of the current one that's reaping the different studios, but EA for the longest time they were kind of the like the Google of video game developers, where they would buy a product and then kill it
Might you even
almost
say,
immediately.
Yes.
Well, might you even say that game development is monopolized?
Well, it 100%
Oh,
is.
yeah.
It's also now has set a precedent to the point of it's no longer about the art. It's about making the most profit off the initial investment. Because if you take a look at AAA development throughout the years and how far it's now scaled up to how expensive these budgets have gotten, how exorbitant the actual development time now is. Because again, for a AAA development, it was like 3 to 5 years at most. Like we're talking around that 2001 to about 2014. Kind of around in that period, you were talking 3 to 5 year turnaround. You would expect your AAA game to be out. Now we're talking 5 to 9 years, if not a bit longer, for your AAA development.
That sounds about right.
When is GTA 6 coming out?
Potentially next year.
What's the going over under whether it comes out on time?
Oh, then they will keep delaying that until it is ready to be actually published and out on the public market. Because again, GTA 5 is still a massive cash cow for them. There was no reason. Like again,
They canceled all
What?
the DLC for it.
you also have to remember GTA 5 came out on the Xbox 360 and PS3.
Came out
Oh,
what,
no, I
2013.
do
It was the
remember.
end
Oh,
of the. It was the end of
2012.
the.
It came out in 2012.
Okay,
Yeah.
because it was the end of the 7th gen console.
Yeah,
life.
so it was out in 2012. There was pretty much, it was like 8 months to almost a year. Then it came out on the next gen
I
consoles.
remember the hype around that game. It was insane.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't played it, but it was insane.
I played it. I bought it on the PS3. I then bought the physical copy on PC, which I still have, and then I think I got the digital version of it on the Xbox One from like Games with Gold or something, or I got it on a sale for cheap. But yeah, I have like 3
Yeah.
copies of it.
I've got GTA 4 for the 360. I got it physical, but I also haven't played that. It just kind of sits on the shelf.
It's a good game. Vice City is still my favorite. Vice City is just amazing.
Well, I like San Andreas personally.
San Andreas is great, but I just
Here we
love
go again.
I love Vice City.
So
good.
here's a hot take if we want to keep the video game stuff going.
Why not?
Digital downloads ruined game quality.
Okay, so
100%.
this is a good part of why I want to see the remakes of the remakes of the Game Boys, because Nintendo is the only one that I think can do it. Because Sega, they had their handheld, Sony of course had their handhelds as well, but I think Nintendo has the following necessary to make it a commercial success, as what we just talked about there, the NES and the SNES remakes.
What handheld did Sega have?
The Genesis or
No,
the Game Gear. Sorry,
Yes.
Genesis was
Genesis-
a home console.
yeah.
Oh,
The
no,
Game Gear.
I had a Sega Genesis. That was
Yeah, I love
Back
I
in
love
the
my
OG
Genesis.
days.
Yeah.
So yeah, you had the Game Gear, and of course the PSP and the PS Vita, which the PS Vita was criminally underutilized.
Yes,
Sony-
it was way ahead of its time.
Sony killed it.
Yes.
It was Sony's fault that it didn't do better.
Yes,
It was entirely
agreed.
Sony's fault that it didn't do better.
Now here's a comment that I want to make just to make you guys think. Who would have thought golden horse armor was going to be the downfall of gaming, just like the death of a gorilla was going to be the downfall of Western society?
golden horse armor.
Yes, so
For
back
Oblivion.
in Oblivion,
That was the first DLC.
the first DLC was horse armor.
$5.
Yes, for $5. And shortly after that, you started seeing the monetization of microtransactions being more common in
gotcha.
video games. And shortly after that period, well, it was actually kind of in between that period where you can start releasing games unfinished and have the expectation of a day one patch.
Gotcha.
As soon as the concept of the game is broken in this area, oh, we can just push a patch out via the internet. That was the true downfall of the modern
Yeah,
game
see,
society
that-
that we have
that's-
now.
That's
agree,
the
yeah.
microtransactions are one thing, but that right there, the
Well, it's
laziness of developers because they always have an out.
yeah, but
in
the
this
the
case,
problem
it's
is
just-
also on the consumer because the consumer still bought those games
Yeah.
knowing they were broken.
Yeah.
And they're
Well,
saying,
okay.
"Oh, we'll wait till it's
Early
fixed."
on, it wasn't necessarily. These days, there's no excuse. There's absolutely no reason to pre-order a game because time and time and time again we see it. When's the last successful launch of
Well,
anything?
it wasn't even pre-ordering for a successful launch. The entire point of what the pre-order was for was when physical games were rampant, especially
Yeah.
for limited
There was
editions.
a finite amount of
There was a
resources
finite
there.
amount.
Yeah.
There is not a single reason now to pre-order a digital game because the digital game will
But you're
never
gonna get
run out.
you're gonna
unless
get the horse
publisher pulls
armor
it.
if you pre-order.
No, that's the dumbest thing ever.
You're gonna get the next World of Warcraft Wolf or Diablo. They've got
It was the mounts
They've
in
got
Diablo
like
4.
pets and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You wait a year or two, and they'll have all of it in a massive bundle.
Freaking Diablo's expansion that's coming out, Diablo 4, better be a freaking massive expansion.
See,
They're charging $40, which is $30 cheaper than the base game. But it's the base game regularly goes on sale for 50% off now. And
Well,
so
yeah, 'cause
it's good for me. It will cost more than what I paid for the base game.
Yeah.
Which is just
you haven't learned about the Blizzard tax.
Ah,
Yes, you have
gosh.
to learn about Blizzard tax. This is why I actually do not buy Blizzard. Here is how I completely got off Blizzard. I no longer touch their games, no longer be directly involved with the company anymore. StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. I was one of those fools that bought the physical copy of the game on PC only for 3 months later for it to go free to play.
I have the physical copy of
You fool!
I have
Yes.
2 physical copies of Wings of Liberty, like in the box. And then I've got Heart of the Swarm, and then whatever the third.
I never bought the third.
Whatever the third expansion's called.
I have it. I just haven't played it.
Call into the void. Hold on, keep talking. I'm gonna look this up. It's gonna bug me.
Yeah, I don't know. But that was just Blizzard showed its true hand of going well. Also, like they completely screwed over all of StarCraft 2. Like on the competitive side, they completely ruined all of the ranking matches there.
I still love me some StarCraft 2 though. Nathan
I love
can attest,
StarCraft
the
2.
Legacy of the Void. That's
Legacy
the name
of
of the third one.
Yeah.
The co-op mode. The co-op mode is great.
Yes.
Just having those missions and everything. Fantastic game. Fantastic game.
Terrible development studio and publisher. I can't.
Oh, I won't argue with that.
Blizzard is
I won't argue with
definitely
that.
one of the worst.
But
Like,
I do own see I have that. I have Diablo 1 through 3. Diablo
don't-
3 doesn't really count on disc because it was
No.
always a battle.net thing.
because I actually just recently picked up Diablo 1 and 2 physically.
those games
on
still
PC.
hold up. Oh my gosh.
No, I love them though. Funny enough, because when I got it, it also came with the Diablo 2 strategy guide, so I even have that. now.
Yes.
So
the strategy guide, the content of the strategy guide is garbage, but
yes,
having it there
No,
is still cool.
again, like that's
That's a lost art of having the games, the Brady
strategy
games or the Prima guides. You know,
Yeah.
that you could go out.
I
and
still
get.
I have a stack this tall with like we're talking like 18 inches tall of just old Prima guides that I retain. One of my favorites that I will never get rid of is I have the original strategy guide for the first Half-Life game. That thing is reading that is like just going through the entire developer notes of every kind of concept they were trying to put in the game
Mhm.
and like the commentary while it walks you through every level and kind of every pitfall that was in there. It's just a neat thing to have.
I think I may have had. I don't have it still. I want to say I may have gotten one of those for Pokemon. Like that's probably the only one. I
Pokemon
have.
is like the perfect game for that
But
too.
Yes.
I know what you're talking about, and I know that I've read through a few more for a few other games. But I was that person that I never spent my money or convinced my parents to spend money on those. I would just go off to the electronics sections in Walmart when I went with mom to go shopping.
Use your
and
photographic memory.
I would just
yeah,
read
yeah.
them while she was,
See,
and
we-
then she'd come get me. I was like, okay, I've read
We
through
would do that,
a
or
couple
we
of levels for this other game.
or we would go to Barnes and Noble and we would bring notebook paper and we would copy down all the cheat codes from the cheat code books back in
Oh
the day when
yeah,
games had cheat
for all
codes.
the Lego games
Mhm.
that had cheat codes. Yes.
Destroy All Humans 2. I think I know for a fact in my original copy there should still be notebook paper in the back with a bunch of cheat codes in it. Like
You-
that did it all the time.
You
Loved
remember Borders?
Cheat codes.
Yeah.
Borders back in the before times.
In the before times.
I liked Borders better than Barnes and Noble.
I agree.
It
Borders was great.
It was pre. It was the pre 2008.
Yep.
Yeah, do you
Sad
remember
day.
Circuit City?
I'd never been. To
I
a
actually
Circuit
don't.
City.
I bought my
Really?
first MP3 player from Circuit City.
I mean, I didn't just like buy stuff from. I've been in Circuit Cities before.
Yeah.
Like, I think yes. I mean, it was the big thing. I'd say Circuit City and Office Depot kind of came up. Well, because there was Circuit City, but there was also Office Depot and Office Max. And I'm pretty sure
I forgot about Office
Office
Max.
Max went away pretty quick because Office Depot and Office Max were the same thing.
They're
I
the
remember
same,
Office
but
Max.
no,
Almost
they
identical.
just combined the brands down. And I mean that wasn't that terribly long ago they made that a full conglomerate.
That was probably 10 years ago, at least. Hold on.
Because I remember, at least up in our region, we used to have both. We had Staples, Office Depot, and Office Max.
Oh yeah, and Staples, yeah.
We still have Staples.
Oh,
Which
Staples
I
is still
mean,
going.
wouldn't
I only use
would
Staples for printing,
Circuit
though.
City and Staples basically be the same thing? Wasn't
No,
it like
Circuit City was pretty much the direct competitor to Best Buy.
the best? Oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
They were that home media store.
Yeah, but
that
I
also
mean,
had business their business
did
section.
Best
and all
Buy
that.
always have the home appliances?
Yes.
That okay?
Yeah.
I thought that got added on later on.
No, they, as far as from my memory serves, they always had washing
Washers,
machines,
dryers, refrigerators.
Okay,
small
guess.
appliances.
I'll take guesses on when Office Max closed.
2012.
2010.
2013.
Yes.
Wow, that was longer.
2013 is when the merger
Yeah.
went through, and so now they're Office Depot.
I remember when
According
that
to
happened.
Wikipedia.
Yeah.
So yeah, now they have Office Max is like a sub brand of
Yeah.
Office Depot. They're a
Trip
subsidiary.
down nostalgia lane.
Yeah, when were they founded?
Oh, that I don't know.
This is great. I love this. April 1st of 1988.
Oh wow.
Nice.
That's kind of unfortunate.
That's awesome. Office Max was founded in Cleveland on April 1st, 1988 by Bob Hurwitz and Michael Fewer. I think we should have had we could just call our founding date April 1st of some year in the past.
You know what's interesting? We went down a bunch of rabbit holes and we complained about all of these tech companies, and yet we still somehow managed to complain about Microsoft.
This is true.
Oh, I can complain about them even more right now with their current epidemic of what's happening with their development studios on the gaming side. Like,
It's your fault, Nathan.
it's fine. I'm not going to complain too long, but they did just have a really good announcement show earlier this week that brought some faith back in it. But the closure of Tango Studios, I will never forgive them for. It's similar to how the closure of Visceral Games from EA, I will never forgive.
Why do I know that name?
So Visceral,
Tango.
Tango GameWorks, they were the ones that developed. So that was the original. I don't know if he's lead developer or he was the so Shinji Mikami, pretty much the father of Resident Evil. That was his when he split off from that project. He made Tango GameWorks. Tango GameWorks made a few of my favorite games of all time, Evil Within 2, and then they made a really cool game recently called Hi-Fi Rush, which launched last year to massive critical acclaim. Literally out of nowhere, it was announcement trailer. Hey, the game is out now on Game Pass. Everyone go play it. Won tons of awards. It was great, and then huge success
Came out last year.
and now the studio's gone.
Is he gone from Microsoft, or is it just the studio?
Studio's gone. I don't know where Shinji Mikami is going to land now.
I was
'Cause
gonna
This is recent. This is like as of a few weeks ago.
I was gonna say, because if he's gone, Hostile Gaming, anybody?
Oh, we can't afford Shinji Mikami.
No.
Oh, no, but I will never get an Evil Within 3 at this point. Again, I love those kind of older, janky Japanese horrors.
Capcom has some great
They do.
games.
They do. I'm holding out hope for the Silent Hill 2 remake because I really, really hope they do it justice.
I don't. Have you seen some of the? I don't remember if it was a trailer or some of the screenshots and stuff that had come out recently.
I haven't seen anything recent. I watched the Silent Hill 2 entire press conference they did last year and was like, all right, I'm pretty much going to go dark on this. I'm going to just kind of wait till they inevitably release it. I will watch the few commentator reviews that I typically follow. If it's great, I'll pick it up. If it's horrible, it is what it cannot be any worse than the Silent Hill collection they released back on the 7th gen for 360 and PS3 that they literally couldn't find the source code, so they just kind of threw stuff together, and that is horrible.
It could always be worse.
I really want the Need for Speed Most Wanted remake.
Oh my God,
So
yes.
much.
Okay, well, because you had a remake. Well, it wasn't a remake. It was I don't even. It's because you had the original Need for Speed Most Wanted that was on the Xbox
Uh-huh.
and PlayStation 2, 2 and 3, 2 for sure.
It was definitely Xbox 360.
So it was on 360 and the original Xbox. Because my copy that I have,
No, it wasn't on original Xbox.
yes, it is. Because my original copy of Most Wanted is on original Xbox. I have the black edition. Yes, it is.
There was the Most Wanted remake that wasn't really related to Most Wanted on the
Yeah, that's what I was
360,
asking.
if
Are you
that's what
talking
you're
about the
thinking of.
original Most Wanted, or are you talking about the newer Most Wanted? Because there's two. There's two versions.
I had pretty much all of the Need for Speed games. I only recall
So-
a Most Wanted.
So-
There's Need for Speed 2, there's
Yeah.
Need for Speed Carbon, there's Need
Carbon
for Speed
came
Most
after
Wanted.
came after Most Wanted. So if you're talking about that one, yeah, that was original Xbox 360 and PS2. I don't know if it came to PS3. But
Okay,
yeah,
I guess maybe I'm thinking about
So, yeah.
the second one because it's the one that had like this new one coming out. It's a remake of it's literally the game with better graphics. But I'm thinking of the original, the one that had good graphics back in the day. Like it wasn't original Need for Speed type graphics.
I'm trying to remember the. Oh God, what was the starting vehicle? It wasn't
It's a
What-
BMW M3.
M3. I was like, it's not the GTR. That was a different one. Yeah, so it started with the M3.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we're talking about the same one.
Anyway, the
You want-
the
you want- you
remake
want-
that's coming out.
Okay, you want that?
That's now, yeah, that.
Okay.
So I mean,
I
I'm
love
sorry.
that.
Just as
Here-
far as like, I frankly, I don't care about the
If
true lineage of the games. To me, the one that they are remaking this year, that is
Yeah.
coming out this year, that original Need for Speed game, to me, the best Need for Speed that's ever come out. Period.
I completely agree. But if we're gonna remake or remaster a racing game from that generation of the consoles, I absolutely need a remake of Burnout Revenge.
Ooh, okay, fair
Burnout
enough.
Revenge is just of the arcade racers out
The
there.
Burnout games in general, yeah.
Just that is, I cannot tell you the amount of hours that I have sunk into that game just playing the one game mode where you just take your car, send it into traffic, cause the largest traffic jam you potentially can to rack with the amount of cash.
Yeah.
Sunk
Chaos.
hours
It's
upon
literally
hours.
just a game of chaos.
Yeah. Love that game. I need a remaster, remake, whatever you want. 'Cause
At this point, oh, this may be a hot take. And this could even be like now, this could even be one game that was just like not even I guess you'd call it like a box set, but it could just be one game with like 3 different what am I trying to say? 3 different, not game modes, but well, you know how Helldivers has the quadrants you can go to. Like there's different sides with the different factions on the big map.
Yes.
This could even be done in a similar way to where you're selecting from the 3 older games, but it's represented in one game.
There's a collection. Yeah.
The OG Medal of Honor games.
Yes.
So you had
just a war
Medal of
crate.
Honor.
That's all you need.
Yeah, Medal of Honor, Medal of Honor Rising Sun, and
Pacific Assault.
Pacific Assault. Wait,
Yes.
no, Rising
Yes.
Sun was. So were there 2 in the European theater, 2 in the Pacific, or is there just the one in the
There was
European
just a
theater?
trilogy for
There's-
the.
There's
a
a European
trilogy.
Assault, and then there's the Pacific one I just said,
Rising Sun.
Rising Sun. Yeah.
I want the remaster.
Anyway, those
Yes.
games, and just wrap them all into one, and just have some sort of UI story like thing, like you said, like a crate, like where you could basically select between the 2 games, like the 2 theaters.
I completely agree.
But
Take it away.
remaster all the graphics, the
Yes.
exact same storyline, no changes there.
Take it away from Dice.
Well,
Especially,
okay,
But
yeah.
we have
Modern
to
Dice,
we
take it with
have
Dice.
to modernize the story because of the passage
No.
of time.
No,
We have to
No.
because of modern
No.
sensibilities.
Yeah, how'd that work out for
No.
Battlefield 5?
How did that work out for any game that's done that so far? So that's why I just leave the games as is, package up the ROM, ship it out.
I still want
Make
the
it playable on modern consoles or modern devices.
I want.
I would still
fine.
say
Then
remaster
you're
the
fine.
graphics.
Well,
I think remastering the graphics is worth
Because
doing.
here's my thing.
But
Here's
if you have a good emulator, which exists, so just make it legal to do so, then you can have all the upscaling that you want, all the anti-aliasing that you
we have
want.
ray tracing now.
That's
But
true.
if the graphics come at the cost of the original,
No, that's what I'm
intent of the
saying. No,
game.
if you're going to do this, the only thing you do new, the only thing you change is the graphics. Period.
Because
but people can't keep their hands
I
off it.
know
Some
what you're- I
consultants,
know what
some
you're
are
saying.
gonna get
Yeah,
their
but-
panties in a bunch.
but
and
We're
decide that
talking
they
about the
gotta-
utopia here. We're
But
talking
you
about
also have-
the
you have to say
best
this.
case scenario.
This is
If you're
hostility. We don't focus on the utopia. We live in the real world, don't we, Nathan? Help me out here.
But the real world has provided us 2 gold standards of remakes. Well, technically 3, but I haven't played it yet, so I can't comment on that one. But Resident Evil 2 remake,
Amen.
phenomenal. Dead Space remake, phenomenal.
Haven't played the Dead Space.
The Dead Space remake, I will say it's very faithful, but it made some very key changes. Like, I was one of those proponents of I don't want a voice protagonist in Dead Space. Like, Dead Space 1 literally is pretty much the perfect game for me.
Mhm.
But in remake, when they gave him the voice, it was perfect because it was everything that you would be yelling out at that time, Isaac says. And it makes him much less of a errand boy during that game and more of he actually has a purpose now. And a
Mhm.
few of the story beats they did change made the game better. So for that scenario, if you're going to do a remake, you need to do it in those ways where you are still honoring the original art, but you are also helping push it up even that much further forward, where it's not only just a remake, it's an actual improvement overall.
They did a very good job remastering Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare. They did a very good job
I would
remastering
not
Call
say
of
that
Duty
was a
2.
very good job.
I
No,
still
the
want
campaign, sure.
Modern
the
Warfare
multiplayer.
2.
I know. I'm talking strictly campaigns. I'm going to get to that in a minute.
Modern
So
Warfare
the camp-
2's
the-
remaster also was not that great.
I could play both of them on modern consoles very easily. I want a remaster of Modern Warfare 3, so I can also play it on current consoles very easily.
You have to finish Soap's story.
Because I play those games. I don't play those games for the multiplayer. I play those games because they are playable B action movies.
I'm still waiting for us to get caught on the Switch. Like Microsoft has been
Call of
promising that
Duty-
for so
Or you
long.
just-
It's supposed to be not this year's release. It's supposed to be next year's release. It's supposed to be coming out on the Switch.
Or you could just play games on PC and just not worry about any of this.
But then you have to deal with the freaking launchers on PC.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I actually just dealt with
Hey.
that today. I was trying to find a game that I
And you
could have
can-
sworn that I owned, and I knew I owned it.
And you can't you can't use any of this complaints about the keyboard mouse thing because you can use a console controller on PC.
Oh, I don't
Not
ever complain
always.
about that.
Not always. You would not believe
When?
how many
When have
times
you
I run
experienced
into
that you can't?
this, where the console game, the console has
What
controller
game?
support, right? You hadn't asked me, I could give you a dozen
sure,
examples.
yeah.
Because like I haven't run into that, and I again the
A
home,
dozen
the
and you
home
can't
theater
name one.
PC.
will
I use
look it
I
up
use an
right
Xbox
now.
controller on it all the time.
Right now, let me pull up my Steam account.
And if I ever hear anybody make the counter to that, well, but the controller's an Xbox controller, the PlayStation controller's better. You kiss my
It's all preference.
behind.
Yeah,
I-
that's
I actually-
mostly
The
preference.
Xbox 360 controller is the superior ergonomic form factor.
Of the
like a
ergonomic form
true
factor,
fight
I
gamer.
agree. However, I've actually now flipped. I really, really like the PS5
How dare
controller.
you?
No, I really.
Okay,
it's
the
a ve-
5.
Yeah, the 5. It's a very good. Of all the controllers PlayStation
Because
has
they
made,
actually somewhat
it's
ergonomic
sized
it.
for your hand now. It's no longer. I don't have large hands,
Like,
and
the
even
thing
the
that got me,
PS3 controller.
the PS3 and
makes my
4
hand
controllers
cramp.
just are, to me, are laughable. Well, it's PlayStation 2 through 4, right?
No,
Are
2
pretty
through
much the
3.
same.
Or 1 through 3 were all the same.
We're all the
1 through
same.
3.
4 was when they had the more
When they had the slightly
because I bought a 4
Nah,
and it was amazing.
the 4 one was an
Eh.
evolution. I'll give them that. But 1 through 3, I don't.
Battlefront 1
I-
and 2, by the way, like the original
Battlefront?
Battlefront 1 and 2, PC does not have. They had console port. PC does not support controllers.
I would have to, because I have Battlefront. I can't. I mean, when I switched to
The OG Battlefront 1 and 2 by Pandemic, not the EA,
okay,
not
well,
the
if
EA
it's old
2015
enough, like,
and
there's
2018.
okay.
No, you wanted examples. I'm
Okay,
just
that's
getting
fair.
started. Medal of Honor. PC doesn't have the
I'll have to confirm that 'cause I
controller
have
support.
That I'm not the original Medal of Honor.
yeah.
I'm not surprised.
You didn't give me a time frame here.
I am not
You just said,
surprised
well,
by
why
that.
doesn't that happen?
That was still when PC was kind of actually respected
there was I'm
before
still
the
kicking
Renaissance
myself.
now.
There was another one that I wanted to play on my Steam Deck, but it didn't have.
But at the same time, from this perspective, like, because the argument that I hear most, at least, and where I can understand the argument, is the whole, like, you know, there's a game that I just want to play. I like playing on a console because, you know, I can just lay on the couch and relax and play it.
Yeah.
I totally get that. You know,
For that, I just have
that
Steam
position.
Remote Play.
But at the same, like some of those older games.
Diablo 3, that's another one. That's the main one. That's the one I was forgetting.
Really?
Diablo 3 is on every single console.
When did it come out?
It came out in 2013.
So that's new enough where I would have to.
2014?
What controller are you using? What are you
I
like?
actually don't
How?
know when
No.
Diablo 3 came out. I
It
don't
does
remember.
not have controller support on PC, but it was ported to the Xbox 360 and the
I was gonna say, but
I
PS3,
kind of feel.
but
I
and then
who
it
kinda
got
plays
next gen
Diablo with
ports
a
to-
controller on PC? Why would you do that? On your
Steam
Steam
Deck.
Deck?
And because that's the other thing, like
Steam
where I
Deck.
would have
Does
to.
it have custom mappings? Can you just map?
It does, but the problem with that, and I could rant about this for ages. The problem with that is that when you get into menus, right?
But you have a touchscreen that acts as a mouse.
You want me to save this rant for another episode?
We need to save this rant for
Okay,
another episode.
we'll save this rant for another
It
episode.
also sounds like a personal problem.
We just
but,
hit
you
an
know.
hour on the
We
on
did,
the
yeah.
thing. Wow, that's incredible.
Well, that's a great time to start wrapping it up. Nathan, where can the people find us?
So they can find us at Twitter at HITM Show, Instagram Hostility in the Morning. That is also how you find us on Facebook. HostilityInTheMorning.substack.com. YouTube youtube.com/@hostilityin the morning. And Matthew, where else can they find us?
HostilityInTheMorning.com, the one, the only website.
Well, now they can find us to
yeah,
Hostility.
we got the
Morning.com.
DNS fixed over the.
It's
over the
always
last-
DNS.
always DNS.
Wow, so yeah.
And one final note, I would like to point out to the audience. It doesn't matter what environment it is. It could be business. It could be gaming. Big tech still sucks.
Always.
Todd Howard will still figure out a way how to put in 16 times the detail, and it just works. And on that incredible bombshell, I've been your host, John, joined here today by
Nathan.
Matthew.
Steven.
Have a hostile morning.